Greetings, Shining Bulls and Shining Bears, and welcome to the 30th episode of the Crypto Astrology Podcast. Please note that financial astrology, similar to technical analysis, is not 100%. I, Maya Raghavan, am not an influencer. I am not a financial advisor. Rather, I am a financial astrologer, using the planetary positions as data inputs in my analysis of the probable nature of price movements. I do not make your decisions for you. Your decisions are up to you. Shining Bull content is here to stimulate your own thought process as you make your own decisions relating to your own finances for yourself and by yourself. Now, we're going to take a look at what this week holds for Bitcoin and Ether price. But first, please always feel welcome to check out the Shining Bull website, where I have all kinds of offerings for all suns. I have a special trading signal service for day traders where you see real-time signals sent to your email, a weekly forecast for both swing and day traders, which gives all the time frames that I see for the week as being bullish and bearish for Bitcoin and Ether, as well as important price resistance and support levels. And of course, I have special predictive books. I especially recommend my Bitcoin by 2026 and Ethereum by 2026 books, as this is an important time to understand what the coming years will bring for Bitcoin and Ether, and these books are valuable. And particularly if you have a lot of net worth in Bitcoin, I recommend reading the Bitcoin by 2026 book in tandem with the Bitcoin Countries book. Also, if you're a Forex trader, by the way. And as for Ethereum investors, I recommend my Cosmic Guide to Ethereum Layer 2 Solutions book. You can learn more about it on ShiningBull.com. And in any case, if nothing's within your price range, just follow me on Twitter and get notifications for this podcast. And also, I'm on Farcaster now at Shining Bull, and I'm on friend.tech, and I'm hoping that turns into something where I can give updates to people and use it like real social media. So if you're interested in either of those, Farcaster or friend.tech, you can find me on there too. So now let's look at this week in Bitcoin and Ether price. I, the astrologer, live in Newfoundland, but I give this weekly predictions on this podcast as per UTC time. Before we get into the day by day, I want to say that this week, especially Monday and Thursday, look really interesting, and you're going to find out more about that in the news part of this podcast. So Monday and Thursday UTC look like big days when some very surprising things, especially relating to ETF filings, can occur, which are positive for the market. Nonetheless, I see that 42,000 is a really important kind of psychological resistance, and it's close to an astro resistance that's around 41,500. And so reaching that resistance means that a large drop is then in play. Okay, and all of that can happen definitely this week. Nonetheless, remember, we're definitely in the full-on bull market. So any drops, even if they're large, possibly even down to about 33,000, if 42,000 is reached this week, even then, it's just correctional in nature. So if you're an investor, it may not even be relevant. Okay, let's get into the day by day. Sunday, UTC. I predict high volatility very early morning UTC when Moon enters the Aquarius Pada of Ashlesha, indicating a directional change. Just before breakfast time, important deliberations in the industry, likely about ETF filings, begin when the Sun enters into the Sagittarius Pada of Jyeshtha, but I'm not sure if this will immediately create price action. But that's what's happening. Close to mid-morning Sunday UTC, a surprising movement occurs with the moon's entrance into the Pisces pada of Ashlesha, which is where Rahu transits in the sky. In the afternoon on Sunday UTC, I see a new upward movement fueled by anticipation related to ETF filings when moon enters Leo. Late night, the crypto market shows some important breakthroughs, benefiting from Mars reaching Vakri Jupiter's cuspal degree, but this again may not reflect in price action. Next, Monday UTC. I see a price climb initiating very early morning Monday UTC due to a selective information dissemination, probably relating to ETF filings when moon enters into trine with Mercury, meaning that a select group of people is going to be led on to some important info. Around sunrise, a stronger climb initiates with the moon's opposition to Saturn. By Monday mid-morning UTC, market-moving news will trigger an upward movement when moon reaches an exact trine to Mercury. Late night Monday UTC, a drop initiates when moon exits trine to Vakri Jupiter. Tuesday UTC. Very early morning, the drop continues when moon enters the Virgo pada of Purva Phalguni, joining Ketu in the Navamsha. Around breakfast on Tuesday UTC, a downward correction or consolidation is likely with the moon's entry into the Libra pada of Purva Phalguni, where Libra being where Venus is transiting now. Before noon, an upward movement begins and positive arrangements are being made for crypto somehow when Mercury joins Jupiter in Cancer in the Navamsha. In the afternoon, an upward consolidation or slower movement starts with the moon joining Mars in the Scorpio pada of Purva Phalguni. Late night Tuesday UTC, a significant up move begins, marking progress in the industry as the moon enters into Uttara Phalguni. Wednesday UTC. Early morning still before sunrise, UTC, a climb starts with the moon's entrance into Virgo. Before noon, an upward movement is likely as the moon enters the Aquarius pada of Uttara Phalguni, where Saturn transits in the sky. In the evening on Wednesday UTC, a price reversal occurs with moon's entrance into the Pisces pada of Uttara Phalguni, where Rahu transits in the sky. Thursday UTC. Shortly after midnight, volatility increases, and I predict a downward movement as moon enters into Hasta. Thursday evening, positive developments, especially for Coinbase. Wait for my news section for more on that, but also, of course, for Bitcoin and Ether, occur as Venus enters into opposition to Vakri Jupiter in the sky. Thursday night UTC begins with an upward movement with moon's entry into Cancer in the Navamsha, joining Jupiter and Mercury there. Again, remember I mentioned Monday and Thursday are really important days, and if you want much more detail, then get either my trading signal service if you're a professional trader, or my weekly forecast if you're a swing or day trader. Next, Friday UTC. Very early morning on Friday UTC before sunrise, a downward correction likely starts as Mercury reaches an exact trine to Vakri Jupiter, even though this moment itself should bring positive news. Okay? Mid-morning, a sudden move, likely a drop, initiates with moon's entry into the Virgo pada of Chitra due to Ketu being there. Late afternoon, an upward movement begins with moon's entry into Libra. late night on Friday UTC, another up move happens when the moon enters into the Scorpio pada of Chitra, where Sun and Mars transit in the sky. Saturday UTC. Shortly after midnight, a steady climb begins with moons trine to Saturn. Before sunrise, a climb continues as moon enters into Swati. Shortly thereafter, a price reversal occurs with the moon's exact trine to Saturn. Still in the morning, around breakfast, another climb initiates as moon starts transiting with Venus. Late afternoon, a new upward push begins when moon enters Aquarius in the Navamsha. Saturday at the onset of the night UTC, a drop initiates when Sun enters into the Aquarius pada of Jyeshtha, joining Moon and Saturn in the Navamsha. Please read the disclaimer in the details section of the video below. So that was the weekly forecast for the week ahead in Bitcoin and Ether price. Remember to check out ShiningBull.com for real-time trading signals, weekly forecasts with price points, and important bullish and bearish time frames, and of course predictive books that show you how the astrology will be defining the larger price cycles. I already mentioned that this is a good time to get the Bitcoin by 2026 and Ethereum by 2026 books, if you don't already have them, as well as the Cosmic Guide to Ethereum Layer 2 Solutions, which covers Arbitrum, Optimism, Polygon Matic, Starknet, and ZK Sync. And then, of course, the Bitcoin Countries book for people with a lot of net worth in Bitcoin or Forex traders. Now, let's talk about some news items from the past week. I want to talk about Coinbase. In recent weeks, really basically the past month, Coinbase's stock coin has been on the rise, driven by a mix of market factors and astrological alignments. On October 27th, when coin began its uptrend, Mercury entered into opposition to retrograding Jupiter. Interestingly, this was precisely when Moon was transiting coin's natal Mercury, signaling a potential for wealth, as this natal Mercury forms an amazing Dhan Yoga for wealth, being the lord of the 2nd and 5th houses from the Lagna, placed in the 11th house. Coinbase's role as a surveillance partner for several of the spot Bitcoin ETFs has been spurring optimism. And then Coinbase's ties with major financial players that are filing for these ETFs. And then, of course, the general ETF optimism has also been good for stock value. And basically, even though Coinbase may indeed suffer due to competition from the ETFs once they're approved, since Coinbase plays a major role in these ETFs as a surveillance and custody for the funds, for almost all of them, I believe, people are expecting coin price to rise accordingly. However, Cathie Wood of ARK Invest offloaded, I believe, $47 million worth of coin shares at the end of November. Interestingly, that coincided with Venus exiting opposition to coin's natal Mercury. That's when she did that. Now, Cathie Wood is represented by Venus due to her influential status as a woman, a powerful woman, and because her past actions related to ARK's ETF filings correlate directly with Venus's movements. I've been tracking her moves and Venus's moves, and I've seen that. A great example for you is that when her firm ARK Invest filed for the very first spot Ether ETF on September 6th of this year, Venus had just turned direct, I believe the day before she did that, which is big. Okay, something really interesting is that on November 29th, I don't know if you know this, but the SEC met with Grayscale and BlackRock about their ETF filings, Bitcoin ETF filings. And this was big news if you heard about it. On that day, Venus on that day, the 29th, which was a Wednesday, I believe, exited opposition to Coin's natal Mercury, as I mentioned, soon to enter into Libra. And that's also the very day that Cathie Wood made her second sale of Coin shares. This gives me an important signal as an astrologer relating to how Coin stock is going to perform this coming year. Looking ahead, this Thursday, December 7th, Venus enters into opposition to retrograding Jupiter, with Moon opposing Coin's natal Mercury. With Coin running a Mercury-ruled period until January 23rd of this coming year, the stock is likely to continue climbing. However, I see a downward correction beginning post-January 23rd, possibly due to unexpected developments with partners or the ETFs that it's going to be custodying for. Something might fall through, custodying or being the surveillance partner for. Something may fall through, or something important could change with that suddenly. So next, from May of 2024, Jupiter's transit in the Lagna signals gains for Coin. And of course that also makes sense because that's when the Bitcoin halving is going to be happening around then. So one would assume, but I can tell you as an astrologer, that's pretty clear too, because of Jupiter's transit in the Lagna. But a particularly strong period will be starting on September 21st of 2024 with the new Bhukti of Mercury for Coin. So basically what I see is that ETF approvals will of course benefit Coin price, but it's also going to be the reason for a downward correction somewhere between the end of January or January 23rd, and the second half of September of 2024, due to something surprising. This would likely be over before May 1st. That's the most likely. Okay, so although I'm not a financial advisor, as a financial astrologer, I see that for those looking to enter into a position, and myself included, I'm interested in buying some of this stock personally, you should have time to do so. So there's not a huge rush because I do see an important correction happening, like I mentioned, and also a long period where that stock will be gaining. Nonetheless, please remember to read the disclaimer below, and I will see you next week. Thank you.